thought I'd actually experience this myself. I've been feeling exhausted all the time, and my stomach has been upset, but work was so busy that I put off getting a health checkup. Both of my parents passed away early, and I, who had divorced 5 years ago, was at a loss when the doctor told me to call my family after the follow-up examination. Stage 4 colon cancer, less than a 20 survival rate over 3 years. I didn't feel real when I was first told, thinking, well, I don't have a family anyway, so let's live the rest of my life without any regrets. That's how I thought to be philosophical about it. When I received the paperwork for hospital admission, I saw a section for a guarantor, and when I said I didn't have any relatives I could call, they said, anyone will do. It felt wrong to ask my boss at work, and the only person that came to mind was my ex-wife, Lisa. While searching for Lisa's number on my smartphone, I realized for the first time that my hands were shaking. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I repeated that in my mind, tapped on my smartphone, and took several deep breaths while listening to the ringtone. When Lisa answered the phone, I gave her a light greeting, told her about the cancer and my life expectancy, and I could hear her catching her breath on the other end, asking, "Why are you so calm?" So I pretended to be fine and said, "Well, I'm single, you know." Lisa was silent for a while, then told me her current address and asked me to come over in 3 days, which I agreed to without hesitation. When I hung up, I noticed that the screen of my smartphone was wet with sweat, and I wiped it off with my pants, relieved that I had managed to hide my agitation, since I wasn't going to be admitted to the hospital right away. I reported to work and dealt with the paperwork for my cancer insurance, and before I knew it, the day of the appointment had come. I took the day off work, drove to Lisa's address using my GPS, and as soon as I got there, Lisa came out and directed me to another location. We arrived at a kindergarten, and through the fence, I could see children playing cheerfully, and Lisa pointed to a little girl in 2 pigtails. "She's your daughter." I looked at Lisa in shock. She had a very serious expression on her face, like she was joking. I looked at the little girl again, and then back at Lisa, and all I could say was, "What?" It's embarrassing to admit, but the reason we got divorced was because of my infidelity. To be exact, Lisa misunderstood a promotional email from a girl at a bar as cheating, and we had a huge argument about whether it happened or not and ended up getting divorced. We didn't have any children, so we just went our separate ways in the heat of the moment. We both moved right after the divorce, and we hadn't been in touch for 5 years. Lisa found out she was pregnant right after we moved, but she couldn't bring herself to tell me, and with the help of her parents, she raised our daughter Sarah all by herself. I completely forgot about my cancer and was captivated by the sight of my daughter playing in the kindergarten yard. I couldn't see her face well from afar, and as I was clinging to the fence, Lisa told me, "You look like a creep. Stop it." Since it was still a while until the kindergarten let out, we went back to Lisa's house for the time being. When I started asking about Sarah inside the house, Lisa got angry, saying, "We should be talking about you first." But to me, learning about my daughter was more important, so I opened my mouth to argue back, but shut it when I saw Lisa's face on the verge of tears. Lisa started crying halfway through, and strangely enough, I became calm and felt like I was able to talk more smoothly than I had expected. When Lisa asked me, "Do you want to meet her?" I almost nodded, but then I shook my head, because that would be incredibly cruel. This crams to grow up without a father, finally meet him, and then have him disappear again. I couldn't bear to make her go through such pain. When I said that, Lisa smiled a little, saying, "You talk like a dad even though you've only seen her from a distance." Without thinking, I shouted, "I'm her father." But honestly, it's strange, ever since I saw Sarah, I felt this surge of affection, and I thought such maternal feelings were only inherent to women, so I was genuinely surprised at myself. Sarah's name comes from one character each from Lisa's and my names, which probably made me feel even more like she was my own child. Hexy, anyway, Lisa agreed to be my guarantor, so on my way home, I did a detour back to the kindergarten. But by that time the children were inside, and I couldn't see Sarah. After that, there were quite a lot of things I had to do before being admitted to the hospital, and I was quite busy. Finally, the day of my hospital admission came, and after various tests, it was decided that the primary cancer would be surgically removed, and the metastatic parts would be treated with chemotherapy. Lisa came on the day of the surgery, and just having her there made me feel stronger. After the surgery, whenever I had a chance, I took selfies and recorded videos in my hospital room. Here's your message for my daughter, Sarah. The first video was, congratulations on becoming a senior in preschool. For the second installment, it's congratulations on starting elementary school. For the third installment, it's congratulations on becoming a second grader. Like this. I plan to take a video every year until Sarah turns 20, with the last video being, congratulations on your wedding. I was aware that I was doing something quite presumptuous, but still, I wanted to leave something behind for Sarah. I wanted to record myself while I'm still in good health. The side effects became pretty severe when the drug therapy was added. I was probably giving up on a lot of things around that time. I wondered if I would really last for another 3 years. I regretted saying that I wouldn't need Sarah to look cool. I hadn't even gotten a good look at her face, yet I missed her so much. I wondered if something was wrong with me. Lisa came to visit twice a week, and I couldn't help but ask her, "How do you explain me to Sarah?" She said, "It's a secret." So I arbitrarily thought maybe she's telling Sarah. I'm already dead, and I felt a bit down. But when I couldn't eat much anymore, and it became painful to stay awake for long periods, Lisa brought Sarah to see me. She had Lisa's round eyes and my triangular nose. She was unmistakably Lisa and my daughter. Time seemed to stop from the shop. When Sarah called me that, I replied, "Sarah," and she bashfully smiled and clung to Lisa's leg. I couldn't help but cry, and then Lisa started crying too, and Sarah did her best to pat Lisa's back and stroke my hand. And eventually, she started to tear up as well. After we all cried our hearts out, we talked about many things. My body, which had been in so much pain, felt surprisingly light, and when the two of them were leaving, I felt like crying again. "Daddy, you're such a crybaby. I'll come again, okay? Hey, please eat your meals," Sarah said to me in a short tone, giving me a lecture. After that, Lisa and Sarah started visiting 3 times a week. I felt really well on the days they visited, and even the doctor was surprised. The side effects that were unbearable before became milder. I could eat properly, and I even recovered enough to walk. It took a lot of courage, but when Sarah dozed off a bit, I proposed again to Lisa. Lisa scrunched up her face and slapped me on the back, saying, "Then you better get well soon," while laughing through her tears. In the meantime, the cancer that had spread was getting smaller and smaller, and it reached a size that could be surgically removed. So, I underwent a second surgery. It had been over a year since the cancer was discovered. When Sarah moved up from kindergarten to the next grade, she gave me a drawing with this year's daddy written on it. But the artistic drawing, where the arms and legs grew directly from the head, became my treasure. And when Sarah moved up to senior kindergarten, I gave her the congratulations on becoming a senior kindergartner. Video data in the room where she lived with Lisa, and I gave Lisa a marriage registration form and a ring. Lisa happily accepted, and Sarah gave me another this year's daddy drawing. This year's drawing of me even had a torso. After the second surgery, I made a dramatic recovery, and the doctor who took care of me said with deep emotion, "Even with stage 4 cancer, miracles like this can happen, and that's why we can never give up." I truly believe that. There were times when my body was in so much pain, and I was so exhausted that I thought I wanted to be relieved of it all. There were times when I wanted to give up on everything, but whenever I saw Sarah's face, I felt a surge of energy. I haven't done anything for this child yet, thinking that made me seriously wish to live longer. And first, screw cancers, but as time went on, I became genuinely grateful to the cancer for giving me the chance to meet Lisa and Sarah. The chance of recurrence isn't 0, but at least the initial at least the 3-year survival rate has been rewritten. Now, I'm just so happy to be able to do anything for Lisa and Sarah. Next year, Sarah will be starting elementary school, and then, I guess we'll exchange gifts again. I sincerely hope that in next year's drawing of me, I'll be wearing clothes. I'll give Lisa a bouquet of flowers, and for Sarah a backpack. I just can't wait. I'm already so excited.